Hello, everyone. Welcome to 10th grade parent night. We are so glad you are here. Thank you for joining us online. We wish we could see you in person. This is going to be run through a YouTube live stream, obviously. There is a chat feature that you can use to ask questions, but we also have a Padlet if the chat feature is not working for you, or if you don't have a YouTube account or something like that. So Ms. Hirsch, if you could go, perfect. So you can use your phone and scan this QR code, or go to this address, and you will find a place where you can type questions there. But again, feel free to use the chat feature in YouTube if that works for you. While we're giving you a moment to do that, we're just going to introduce ourselves. My name is Tracy Meilenberg. I'm one of the school counselors at ISB. I serve students in grades 8 through 12 with last names O through Z, and I'm going to pass it on to my partner in crime, Catherine Hirsch.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Catherine Hirsch. I'm the other school counselor, and I work with students 8th through 12th grade for the first part of the alphabet, so last names A through N, and I will pass it to Amy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Schaff. I am the IB Diploma Program Coordinator, and I work with the junior and senior classes at ISB. And I'm going to pass it to our administrators. Scott, you want to go first?
Hi, everyone. I'm Scott Gladney. I am your assistant principal. I'll pass it to Janice.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Janice Adams. I'm the interim principal. I'll be here until the end of June. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I will pass it to Malia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Malia. I'm a junior at ISB, and this is my third year attending ISB. I'm going to pass it on over to Emilio.
Hi, I'm Emilio. I'm also a junior at ISB, and I've been here since 6th grade. And I'll pass it over to Maria.
Hello, my name is Maria. I'm also a junior, and I've been at ISB since 6th grade. I'm gonna pass it on to Jonah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jonah. I am a senior at ISB, and I have also been here since 6th grade. I'll pass it over to Lizzie.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm a senior as well, and I've also been here since the 6th grade. Pass it back to the people talking about the presentation.
Actually, Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm a junior at ISB, and this year is my first year. Is there anyone else, or
You're right.
the last?
That's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, so thank you all so much for joining us. Here are the topics for the evening. We're going to talk in general about the IB Diploma Program, and this is pretty much what it is in any IB Diploma Program school. Globally, we're going to talk about the benefits of doing an IB Diploma Program. We're going to talk specifically about doing an IB Diploma Program at the International School of Beaverton, and then we're going to take some questions and answers. This is the IB Diploma Program, and you can see at the very core of this circle, you can see is students. Those are people in the middle. And it says the IB Learner Profile. And for students who have been with us for any length of time, they're familiar with the attributes of the learner profile: caring, open-minded, knowledgeable, students more. There's so many of them.
Principled, balanced, and principled are another two.
Excellent. Anybody else got one?
Risk taker.
Nice.
Sorry.
Risk taker.
Inquirer.
Inquirer. Good. So these are the principles that surround all of the IB's programs: the primary years program, the middle years program, and diploma program, and the career program. The other part to pay attention to is that you can see in the core, we have theory of knowledge, extended essay, and creativity, activity, and service. Those are the three components of the core. Surrounding that, you see the courses themselves, and the courses are divided up into 6 different groups. We're going to get there shortly. So the IB Diploma is essentially a 2-year course of study. It is really concurrency of learning matters to IB, and they want to see the learning happen over the course of 2 years. Students take 3 higher level courses, also known as HL courses. They take 3 standard level courses, those are called SL courses. It is possible to take 4 HLs and 2 SLs, but that's down the road. They need to write a 4,000 word extended essay. They have to take a 2-semester theory of knowledge course, and they have to complete a full creativity, activity, and service program. More specifically, the extended essay is an independently researched and written essay supervised by an ISB faculty member. It's completed generally, we start thinking about it in December of the junior year, and it is turned in and out of everyone's hands by October of the senior year. And at ISB, this is a ISB high school graduation requirement, actually. TOK, Theory of Knowledge, is a 2-year course that challenges students to ask questions about their knowledge and experiences. And it goes through, again, 2nd semester of the junior year, 1st semester of the senior year. Our 2 seniors are officially done. They just finished last week. And we have our 4 juniors are just now starting their TOK journey. Additionally, IB believes that to be a balanced, healthy, mentally sane person, it's important to not just do school, that much learning and much of what makes us interesting human beings is what happens outside of the classroom. So this is where creativity, activity, and service comes in. And this is where we ask students to initiate, do, and reflect on activities outside of the classroom throughout their 2 years. And again, this is concurrent with their academics. And we track all 3 of these things on a program we have called Manage Back. Let's hear it from the students. Students, let's see all the comments here, the questions on this slide. Is there information? Yeah, there we go. Here are our students. We have juniors, we've got seniors. And I think, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, here we go. This is it. So, Jonah, what was your extended essay on?
My extended essay was on the land art movement. I chose visual arts as my subject to study, and I chose 2 different artists and basically looked at the works they made and doing some analysis on them, and then connecting them back to just modern ideas around how artists make art.
Fantastic. Olivia, you're just getting started. What are you going to be doing your extended essay on, you think? At this point, we know it's still the beginning of the process, but...
Yeah, so I'm still in the sort of approval process for my research question, but I'm planning on doing it in the realm of psychology, and within that subject, the effects of social media on body image in female adolescents.
You will find no research on that whatsoever. Good luck. Ubiquitous. Good. And let's just hear from one more person who for sure did. Emilio, what are you getting going on?
Yeah, so I'll be doing a history extended essay where I'm gonna look at colonialism in the Philippines. I am yet to choose a time period, but I'll probably be looking at a time around the Philippine-American War.
Perfect, thank you. So you can see that students can really go deep into a topic that's interesting to them, and it really has to be interesting to them because they're gonna live with it for 9 months. Lizzie, would you agree? Yes, okay.
Ms. Schaff, I'm gonna interrupt for a second because we have a question that's pertinent to this. What is the process for choosing your extended essay topic? Could the students or you talk about a little bit about that?
Mm-hmm. Students choose an extended essay based on the courses that are offered at ISB. Our policy is that if you're not in the course, it would be very challenging to understand how methodology in a particular academic discipline works. So that is a requirement. So based on the courses that we offer at ISB, those are the topics that you can write an extended essay in. And students start thinking about that in their IB seminar courses and in AVID in the junior year. And basically they start around Thanksgiving to start thinking about it. There is a possibility of doing something outside of the courses that you take, and it's possible to study a current event through 2 academic lenses, and that's called a world studies extended essay. So that's kind of how it gets going. What else is on this slide?
Cass.
Cass, all right. So I'd like to hear what you guys are proud of. What are you working on? Lizzie, you're almost done, man. So what have you done with CAS that you're like, I did this, it was interesting?
Well, a lot of my CAS was based around service, which is always fun to do and just help people out. A lot of what I did as my service portion was based around the environment. So going to cleanups, tree planting events, and I got to do that with my friends as well when it was not COVID, which is also a really fun thing to do all together.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, thanks. Maria, what are you working on? What are you getting going with CAS?
Well, right now, obviously it's really hard to find certain things to do, obviously due to the pandemic. But I've been trying to focus a lot on what I can do in my neighborhood and in my house as well, because you don't have to go and like a long drive to do a cleanup or stuff like that necessarily, but it can also be something inside of your house. And right now what I'm doing is helping my little sisters with like their schoolwork and things like that. And that can also count for your CAS.
That's great. Thank you. What are you all doing for activity? Does anyone have an activity that you're doing? Activity is officially defined as something that makes you sweat. Malia, what are you doing for your activity?
So I feel like my CAS is mostly activity based because I'm a competitive dancer. So there's a lot of hours that go into rehearsals and performances and stuff like that. So far the majority of my CAS portfolio is based off of going to dance, whether it's on Zoom or in person. That's what my CAS looks like so far.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone have anything to report on creativity, the creativity component? Olivia, go for it.
Sorry about that. It was not letting me unmute. But I'm doing painting classes and also pottery for creativity. And one thing I really like about CAS is it sort of pushes you to try things if you don't have something for every category. So I've been appreciating that about CAS.
That's great. Thank you. All right. Is there anything else on this slide?
TOK.
Oh, TOK. All right. Well, seniors, you're finished. You're done thinking about it. Juniors, you've had literally one lesson so far. Emilio, in a word, what's your take?
It's a very conceptual class. It gets you thinking. Yeah, it's mostly just things that you have to think about. Like in our one class, we discussed what is a sandwich and how do you define that, because that's a very broad term. So, it's just random stuff like that. And I'm sure it'll get more academic, but that's all we've done so far.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, next slide. Great. So IB is for every IB course that you take, except for TOK and the extended essay, you get a score from the International Baccalaureate ranked from 1 to 7. Passing is considered to be a 4. And these scores are made up of all the different kinds of assessments for the specific IB course. So there are external assessments. So for example, in visual arts, there is something called a comparative study that is assessed by somebody out in the world. There is also an exhibition made up of the student's work. That's the internal assessment graded by the teacher and then moderated by the IB. And then there's also used to be called a book. I don't know, what is it called now? What are the pages? Jonah, what is that called?
It's just like a slideshow of like your process of making art. I can't remember the name.
Process portfolio.
Process portfolio, yes.
That's great, thank you. So that is the exam for visual arts. In something like mathematics, the internal assessment is doing math and showing math and thinking about math. And the external assessments are exams in the month of May of the senior year. So for every one of the courses, basically you've got internal assessments and external assessments, and the combo is what goes to make the course grade. And again, you get anywhere from a 1 to a 7. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, I think that this is Tracy.
I think it's me. I think they give this to me because this is like my very favorite thing to talk about about is the benefits of the IB program. No one's going to deny that it is rigorous and that it can times be challenging and hard work. But what it does do, without a doubt, is prepare you to be successful in college. So you can see some of the facts here. IB students earned higher GPAs and graduated at higher rates. The performance in the DP program was the strongest predictor of grades. And ISB every December, usually. This year we did not have them, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do an alumni panel. But every year we have our ISB alums return. And one of the things that they talk about is their confidence. They talk about things like they were looking around at their classmates and saying, like, you guys don't know this? Like, holy cow, I know this. And how smart they feel when they get to school and how confident they are in their ability to succeed.
Hey, Tracy, we have two students on our panel right now who both had siblings who were IB diploma students. Emilio and Maria both have sisters. Can you, either of you, Maria, will you talk a little bit about your sister's experience having had IB when she went to University of Oregon?
Yeah, for sure. So my sister, honestly, she wasn't a big fan when she was in IB because obviously, like, it's school, it's gonna be hard. But when she graduated, she was so thankful that the teachers were able to push beyond what you thought your limits were. And, just like Ms. Meilenberg said, she went into her class and she was like, whoa, I feel like so much more prepared than other students. And her friends would tell her that they were like nervous because they didn't know a lot of the content that they were expected to know. And she just had that kind of helping her and guiding her through her first year of college. So it was very helpful.
Thank you. Now, Emilio, your sister's just started this process. She's a freshman, but what has she reported to the family?
Yeah, we were actually just talking about this a couple hours ago because I was on FaceTime with her. But she definitely feels like she's more prepared than her classmates. And she says that when she has been editing her friends' essays, she was surprised about how advanced her skills were. And she was just very thankful that IB prepared her well and feels that she can take a challenge now without being too nervous, which is great.
Great, thank you.
So the next slide, this is my favorite slide. I love, even when we were planning this presentation, I still get excited. I've done this presentation like 9 times and I still love it. So on average, the amount of students who continue from freshman to sophomore year, well, the other way to say it is about 40% of students drop out of college between freshman and sophomore year, don't continue on. But at ISB, anywhere between 97 and 99% of our students continue on to their sophomore year of college. And to me, this just reiterates what we were just saying, that our students are very prepared, that they have confidence, that they know it, they know that they can succeed in college. And to me, this is just one of the most wonderful things about the IB program, is that confidence that it gives you when you go on, and that they know that they can do it. And they can do it, obviously, because they stick around. So, am I doing this one too?
Yep.
Okay. Successful IB students, if you're wondering if you can do it, they study, they are balanced, they learn how to manage time. Like we are hoping that you spend some time working hard, but you also spend some time playing hard, that you set goals for yourself, that you learn to advocate. And this is one of the most important things. You're not going to always understand everything 100% of the time. And oftentimes, I think something that happens, or something that we see in the counseling office, is students who didn't struggle a lot in freshman and sophomore year, and then encountered their first obstacle when they got into the IB program. And they were like, I'm used to getting things, pretty good most of the time. and they have to learn how to talk to their teachers and ask for help and go in and go to an office hour and ask, how do I do this, or how can I improve on this? And that's a really important part of succeeding in the IB program. I would say equally as important is they are internally motivated to do the IB. So you don't have to be a straight A student. You don't have to be perfect at everything. We have students in the whole range of the academic scale. But one thing you do have to have is the desire to do it. So if you want to do it, we can help get you through. And want to complete the program because they want the challenge and they see the connection to their future goals. So they're connecting the IB with something that they want to do in the future. All right, students, now it's your turn. How have you been successful in grades 11 and 12? Do tell.
Let's ask specific people. Lizzie, how has it worked out for you? What kinds of things have you done to be successful through the 2-year, well, you've been a year and a half.
Well, I'd say I'm still trying to master all of the things that were on the previous slide, even being halfway through my senior year. But I definitely try to incorporate studying a lot. Like that's very important to me because I like to do well, even though, I mean, it's hard sometimes. I do like to perform well with my academics. So I've really tried to create a balance in my life where I can study, but then also have fun and get to do extracurriculars that I like. And I think I've definitely started to find a groove with that, even though we're not in a place in the world where we can go out and do things. That has, I feel like for me personally, has been much more successful during grades 11 and 12.
Malia, what about you? What kinds of things have you put into place for yourself junior year that maybe you didn't have to think about 9th or 10th grade?
I think the most important thing for me personally is getting feedback from my teachers and asking for help when I need it. Specifically in classes that at the quarter, maybe I didn't do as well and as I wanted to, I decided that I needed to take the initiative to meet with my teachers. And then I continuously met with one at least once every 2 weeks just to make sure that I could know the content as well as I thought I should. And that's the biggest thing I think I've done. But another thing is just studying, but also creating a balance, just because I feel like if you study all the time, there is a little bit of a burnout. So I think balancing your time in between studying and doing things that are relaxing and stuff like that is another important thing to be successful.
Great, thanks. Would anyone want to add anything to those two people's comments that wasn't said, something you're specifically doing?
I would just add organization, especially with time management. While it may sound super nerdy, a godsend in my life right now is my planner. I know a lot of people don't use it, but it's one of the best things that helps me keep organized and manage my time well. So if you're not using your planner, you should probably get on it. And I know that sounds like teacher propaganda, but it's really true.
Just curious, do any of you have a whiteboard in your room? Anyone? Jonah has a whiteboard. Okay, there you go. There it is. Thank you. Okay, I think Catherine, you've got the next couple slides.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about IB at ISB. So we are a full IB school, so our students are full IB students unless an individual's four-year plan and profile needs to be adjusted to support their high school graduation requirements. Obviously that comes first, but most of our students are doing the full IB diploma program. So this is all we do. We're an IB for all schools, so all of our students are working towards the same thing, and so is our staff, which I think that sets us apart from other IB programs. DP students have a whole school community for support. Again, we're all working towards the same goal. We all have been trained. We know what IB is all about and what it takes. So we're all part of it. We know every kid can achieve success in an IB for all school. And we encourage every student to test, as this is an important opportunity for personal growth and potentially getting that college credit. So students, There are other schools that offer IB. Why did you decide to do Ibdp at ISB? Anyone?
I can say, so Sunset is my home high school and Sunset is an IB school. And one reason why I decided to do it at ISB instead of Sunset is because I like to be surrounded with like-minded individuals. And at Sunset, I think there's only like 17 kids who do full IB. And then at ISB, you get to be surrounded by 80 kids that are doing full IB. So I feel like the net of people who are going through what you're going through is bigger, so you feel more supported. And I like the smaller school environment because I think that like I get to know everyone and I feel like we're a lot closer. And sometimes you need that support doing IB because it can be very challenging at times, especially when you feel like you're alone.
Olivia, you were at an IB school in another city and your family was moving to Beaverton, and you got in touch with me last February, I think it was, is the when you started emailing. And I'm wondering, why did you, I mean, you had a lot of options in the Portland metro area. Why did you seek out the International School of Beaverton?
Well, similarly to what Malia said, I was also looking for a smaller school experience. For me, the big public school didn't really work for me, and I've found at ISB it's a very tight knit community, and there's a lot of support that you don't really find within a big public school, like lots of the public schools in Beaverton. So that's been really good, and for that reason, that's why I chose ISB. But I think the diploma program in general is really valuable just for looking at futures, especially for people who are interested in college. Every college that I've visited has told me that they focus more on that they want you to challenge yourself in high school more than grades. So I think was a big motivator for me too.
Thank you. Maria, you kind of wavered a little bit sophomore year to junior year, and now here you are halfway done with your junior year. I'm wondering, why did you choose to do the IB diploma program at ISB?
Well, it took a lot of meetings with Ms. Hirsch to come to the final decision. But I guess what convinced me was that at first I wanted to do early college. And then I came to terms that maybe not be the best path for me, just because I feel like I need a lot of support. And early college is more like individual. And then after that, I wanted to go to my home high school, which is Mountainside. But I realized that there are very few IB students there, and the teachers at ISB, they specialize in the IB diploma. Everyone is required to take the full IB, so they know more than anyone how to support their students. So that played a really big role in my decision. And I mean, so far it's been going really good. So
yay, that's awesome. Okay.
Go to the next. Okay, so student success at ISB. So we have 100% graduation rate. So all of our students graduate with their high school diploma, and around 70% consistently earn the IB diploma. So that's on top of their Oregon high school diploma. Of these, each year around 45% earn a 30 plus point IB diploma. Okay, so we are going to go into forecasting and talking a little bit more about the different groups. Before we do that, I'm just going to talk about the Oregon State school requirements. So Oregon public universities require C's or better in the core classes. So 4 years English, 3 years of math, social studies, science, and 2 years of a world language. Our students at ISB take beyond this. They're taking 4 years of math, social studies, science, and most are taking world language from 9th through 12th grade. So this is definitely putting them above and beyond the bare minimum requirements, and that is looks really good to colleges, to four-year colleges and universities, that these students are challenging themselves and taking kind of the height of rigor in a high school curriculum.
So at ISB, another component of an IB for All program is that all of our courses are 2 years long. At our neighboring high schools, some of their SL courses are 1-year courses, but we really believe if every student does each of the courses for 2 years, they're going to be more successful and we can set them up better for that success. Because of that, it's really challenging to change halfway through. Like at the end of junior year, you can't just say, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to do this instead. So you kind of have to commit now for what the next 2 years are going to be like. So here are the courses that we offer. There's not a lot of choice here. You have basically English. It's called IB Language and Literature. There is, for group 2, you can do Spanish, Mandarin, or Japanese, which is generally a continuation of what you have been doing. There is a possibility in the junior year at the beginning, you can take Self-Taught Language A, which basically is you are fluent in reading and writing in another language, then you've actually had education in that language, and you could write the kind of literature paper that you would write for an English class but you can do that in another language. So for example, Malia is doing self-taught German. And so that replaces her group 2. So our group 3, everyone takes History of Asia as a junior, and that becomes 20th century history, senior year. Biology is a 2-year course required by everybody. Everyone takes a math class, whatever that next math class would be. You can do HL or SL, math analysis or approaches. We call it MAA. Or you can do MAI, application and interpretation, and that is an SL course. So those are basically your options. It's pretty much, you just go to the next year. Here's where it gets interesting. The true elective, the group 6. So we have a number of group 6 courses, and I'm looking at who my students are, and we have representatives of most of these classes here, which is fantastic. So we have visual arts, and you can do visual arts as an SL or an HL, and all the SL, HL stuff doesn't really matter. It's just school until October of the senior year, and that's when you have to make a decision about, all right, I think I can SL or I think I can HL. Jonah, can you spend a minute talking a little bit about the visual arts course?
Yeah. The nice thing about visual arts is it's a generally very small group of people who are all very creative. So you kind of find your people while taking the class if you really are into like making art. And we make all pieces about all things that you're passionate about too. And you get help, one-on-one help from your teacher, Miss Hawks. She's awesome. So it's really just about staying in touch with your creative side, which also helps while you're trying to go through the craziness of IB. If you ever get overwhelmed, you can kind of channel that into this class. So it's a really fun class while always also being like academically challenging too.
Thank you. IB Psychology, Olivia, you were in that class.
Yes. So far in IB Psychology, I mean, honestly, that was just one of the electives that was left. I did forecasting late, but I have honestly been really enjoying it. And it wasn't something that I knew I was interested in before. And it's made me think about like possible careers in the field, and that's something we've talked about in the class too. So yeah, it's been really interesting to get something outside of other classes that I've had. And I would just also like to add that IB Psychology is not commonly offered at lots of other IB schools. So that's sort of special.
Thanks. IB Music, which is a completely different class than the one Lizzie is in right now. But Lizzie, you can speak to your experience in general, but the course that these students will be forecasting for is actually a different curriculum. Every 7 years or something, every class changes on a regular basis. So it's going to be a new one, but generally, what's the experience been like in music?
Well, so I take choir, And I mean, it's a pretty small choir. If you know what a chamber choir is, it's basically just a very small choir. So ours is probably around 20 people. And if you've ever been in a choir class before, it's pretty much the same thing as that. You learn about different music theory techniques. I'm currently taking music theory, which is kind of like an IB requirement to go with choir. And I'm not sure if that's still happening, but that's what I'm taking this year. And we learn about different musical theory techniques, and as well as just pieces in general. We learn how to be better singers, and in a normal year we would be performing, which is always the most fun part for me. But basically just learning new songs, learning how to be a performer, and just generally musical like techniques and performance skills.
Global politics, no one knows because we've never offered it before. We've never had enough students to sign up. For us to have a class actually go, we need to have about 30 students to make it happen. So we just haven't had the interest in global politics, but essentially you're exploring concepts like power and equality and in a variety of different contexts. You have to do a massive research-based essay with the political issue. And then there's two papers for that are in the May of the senior year. And then chemistry, I think Emilio, you're in chemistry. So is Maria, you're in chemistry? You're in music. Oh, do you have anything to add to the music? Because you're actually in the new curriculum. Do you know that you're in the new curriculum?
I didn't know that, but yes,
okay.
I am music.
Okay, chemistry.
I think Emilio and I probably have very different reasons why we're taking chemistry, but we're both taking chemistry nonetheless. I chose to take chemistry because I've always wanted to go into the medical field. And currently my desired major in college is biochemistry. So just because I like to be prepared, I decided to take chemistry, and I'm very much a science person when it comes to school. I've always found science really interesting, and I decided that chemistry would be the class for me to take as my group 6.
Well,
and I'll hand it off to.
What's Emilio got going on that's different than what?
Well, I would like to say that everyone should take global politics. I campaigned in my grade for that so hard, and no one ended up signing up for it. Not like no one, but like not enough people to sign up. And I'm devastated that wasn't chosen. However, I am still enjoying IB chemistry. I love our teacher, Miss Lampkin. She's great. It was great having a foundation of knowledge of chemistry with STEM Chem in 10th grade, and it's just a great class, and I wish we were in person so we could do labs, but I'm enjoying it a lot because now I'm thinking I might do something related to science in college, but who knows?
Okay, so those are the group 6s, and all of these are on our school website under Diploma program. You can find all of these courses. So again, there's no given about what's going to be, it's all about the numbers, and each cohort kind of is its own unique group, and they sign up for what they sign up for. In the past, we haven't been able to offer psychology. In the past, we haven't been able to offer this or that, but we somehow, we do what we can do to keep there enough electives to keep it a little bit interesting for students. So at this point, I think it'd be great to hear about, I think we kind of covered the first question, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that transition. For people who have been at ISB for a while, you were in MYP for a while, and then suddenly, boom, you're in the diploma program. What was that transition like for you? How about, does somebody want to take that? Jonah, anybody?
Okay. For me, the transition from 10th to 11th was not as bad as the transition from middle school to high school. And I think that's because that when you get into high school at ISB, our teachers like really prepare you for what you're about to like get into. Like they make it so the transition isn't as bad. So that just goes to show that we have teachers that actually like care about us and like work to make it work for us and are there to support us. So I think that's really important when taking on the DP.
Anybody else want to add to that?
I definitely agree that the teachers prepared us from doing MYP to DP, I think one of the main differences is the workload that you're taking on, because I don't know if it's just because we're online, because I haven't experienced the DP in person, but one of the main differences is the amount of homework we have. I'm not saying like we have an extensive amounts, but there's time where the homework like really loads up. So you have like maybe 3 hours one night. And that's different than MYP, because the most homework I really ever had was like an hour. And that's basically the biggest difference from my experience.
Olivia, was it a big transition going from where you were to the junior year?
Kind of. Definitely the biggest thing would be homework. But I also just think the biggest transition for me was going from, there's sort of a different curriculum at ISB than some other schools, especially like just normal public schools like the one I was at. And I would definitely say while there is more homework, it's not like busy work. And a lot of it is not actually technically put towards your final grade. So you can kind of choose what you need to do to get a good education out of the lesson. But it was not too bad, especially with online. I was able to sort of get settled. So
Excellent. I think that's one of the strategies you use to manage your workload, is to triage where you're going to put your energy as far as the homework. Emilio, is it possible to have a life while doing the diploma program? Well, I don't know what a life is during COVID and the pandemic, but is it possible to enjoy your life while doing the IB diploma program at ISB?
Yes, it is, but you also have to make sure you manage your time correctly. I feel like I would be a good example of having a life during DP, because I do lots of stuff outside of the DP program. I have 2 internships, which is kind of crazy, but I'm having a great time with them. I'm also learning how to longboard, or like skateboard right now. So that's so much fun. I've been getting back into video games, but I have to say that all of that comes after I do all my homework and classwork. So if you manage your time correctly, you can have time to do stuff. And if you squander your time, you're not going to have time to do stuff. So you really got to prioritize the work. And I know sometimes it's just easier to sit back, go on TikTok or Instagram and just chillax for a couple hours, but don't do that, because then you're going to be up late doing homework, because you need to do your homework. And yeah, you can have a life, just manage your time correctly.
Maria, you actually have a job, don't you, while doing the IB diploma program?
I do. It's very difficult at times, but I feel like it's necessary for me to learn how to balance that, because I know that, I mean, I'm gonna have to work like for the rest of my life. So, from especially in my family, like we're used to like when you're able to get a job, you go out and you just start working. But I've tried to I've tried to just keep it to weekends. And I just work like 8 hours. Sometimes if I'm like cross-trained in different departments at the grocery store that I work at. And sometimes, they'll ask me to do overtime, but then that sometimes affects like my studying. But recently I've tried to balance that a bit more, because I tend to get carried away with like, oh, I'm getting more hours, like more money, but I also have to think about like, am I going to be prepared for this bio test on Monday or things like that? So it's definitely a challenge, but I think that it teaches you a good life lesson on how to balance work and school.
Jonah and Lizzie, you two are in the thick of it with the senior year. The senior year is the big year in the diploma program. How are you doing as far as managing to have a life while doing the diploma program?
I think organization, I agree, someone said this earlier, is so like important for like any year, like my junior year and my senior year, like staying organized, managing your time. Like there's a myth for me, from my personal experience, I feel like at ISB there's a myth that you can't do sports while you go to ISB, and that's just not true. I'm on varsity track and soccer for Mountainside, and I'm still able to manage my time during the season and off season. I also have a job, and I work 16 hours a week during my senior year. So it's definitely manageable. Like, I think that, I don't know, it's difficult, but if you stay on top of your stuff, you can definitely do whatever.
How about you, Lizzie? Do you have a life?
I mean, sort of. Mostly my life is school right now because senior year, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. Just a lot of IB like components are happening like all at the same time right now. But like last year, I was involved in a lot of music. I took piano lessons, vocal lessons. I was in a community choir that met every week, and then we had performance season. So when I was performing, it was hard to manage. Like I'd be having a test one day and then I'd perform the same night, and it was kind of crazy. But I definitely use, everyone's kind of said this, but definitely organization. Like that is your number one thing you need to be worried about, because if you're not organized, everything falls apart. So I literally have like scraps of paper with to-do lists written all over them, because every day I write myself a new to-do list about, oh, what do I need to get done today? What needs to be done tomorrow? I keep a planner, like my notes are filled with like, oh, I need to do this for school. This has to happen. Don't forget to do this. But I try to keep myself organized with extracurricular events. Like I have my music lessons, I always do. I actually started running during the pandemic. So I try to get school done and then go on a run, get my mind clear, and get physical exercise. But definitely trying to stay organized would be my biggest like idea if you really needed something to get started on.
Thank you. Tracy, do we have any audience questions that we need to address?
Yes. So let's get, actually, Catherine, could you go back to so that people have the Padlet again if they need to? So you can use the chat feature in YouTube, or you can use the Padlet. We have some people using the Padlet. Ms. Schaff, actually, I think these two can go together. Is there a reason why the assessments are graded on a scale of 1 to 7 instead of 1 to 8? And then kind of in the same connected to that, how do Ibdp grades transfer to BSD grades?
Right. So the 1 to 8 is actually, it's a 1 to 7. So the 1 to 8 is an Myp grading tool for the assessment. If you look at 9th grade, 10th grade, if you look at the planner, you'll see all the assessment tools. Those are all on a 1 to 8 score. All those rubrics are 1 to 8. And because we are in a school district that's proficiency grading based, our 1 to 8 continues with the junior senior year. That's actually not formal IB policy. If you look at IB assessment tools for the diploma program, none of them are 1 to 8. They are all like 1 to 22, like 1 to 9, it's just random. Every class has got their own thing. And what we've all had to do in the Beaverton School District, all the diploma program teachers, we've had to create assessment tools for the Beaverton School District that are either on a 1 to 4 for the other schools or a 1 to 8 for us, that is commensurate with what the IB diploma program assessment tool is. So that's how the actual assessments are assessed, using those tools. Then the course grade is a 1 to 7, and that course grade is made up of the different assessment components, each of which has their own different assessment tool.
All right, and I think I'm going to give you this next one too. And there's two questions that are similar. So I think if you answer one, you answer the other. If a student takes HL math, can they take SL level history instead of HL to keep the 3 to 3 balance?
Well, so the key is you have to have the 3 to 3, 3 HLs, 3 SLs. It's possible to do 4 HLs and 2 SLs. That's fine, as long as you no more than 4 HLs. And the deal there is that most students at ISB do HL English, HL History, and HL Bio. Those are the standard HL courses. We do have students, though, who are in HL Language B. Maria, you are in HL Spanish, true? Right. So she now has 4 HLs, so she can now pick and choose. She may decide in October of the senior year, yeah, I'm going to SL in history, or I'm going to SL in bio, and she still has her 3 HLs. Another person is Jonah. Jonah has visual arts, and he's testing HL. Are you registered HL? Yeah, so he's HL. So he has 4 options, so he can pick and choose as well. And I think he went for 4 HLs. Did you? Yeah. Okay. So HL math is just another way, another one of those HL opportunities. That means you can pick and choose. You have options with the senior year. So our courses, like we teach HL history, students choose whether they're going to register for SL or HL history. The same is for biology. The same is for visual arts. But it's all taught to the HL level, which is basically we teach what you need, and then people can pick and choose.
All right. I think that's all of our questions. I'm not seeing any other ones. Please feel free to put any more if you have them. And I think, do we have a slide for next steps? Or are we just saying next steps?
You know, I don't see any next steps, but I just want to acknowledge that if you are you're here tonight to hear about the program. You've seen evidence in these students, which just I'm so impressed with all of you, the work you're doing. I'm more and more impressed with the staff, even though I was already impressed with them. I'm impressed with them even more after hearing what the students have had to say. So I just wanted to make sure I said that.
I concur. We have amazing kids. We have just the most amazing young men and women, and the most amazing teachers. So thank you all for being here. In advisory today, the students did get an overview of this with their advisory teachers. The forms were emailed out to all students and families on Monday. They are also on our website, and they are due February 17th. So that's Wednesday next week, right?
Yep.
Yes, Wednesday next week. If you have any questions, or sometimes students are kind of vacillating between psychology and chemistry or things like that, feel free to contact Miss Hirsch or I, or probably even Miss Schaff would be open to it. And we're happy to talk to you about the courses and help you make those choices. You do want to put some thought into it since they're 2-year classes. But we are happy to help you. And let me look to make sure we don't have any last questions. Oh, it's like that. Feel free to contact. Why am I? What is the BSD grade equivalent 4/5, 6/7, 8, or BA that best predicts earning the IB diploma?
Okay, I got this.
Okay.
I would say if you are consistently earning B's in your classes, then you're probably going to get a 5 for your IB course grade. If you are getting A's, you're going to be getting a 6 or 7, probably, likely 6. 7s are sort of the unicorn. If you are getting C's, you're probably going to be getting 4s. And just so you know, at the public universities of Oregon, the 4-year and the 2-year institutions, all of them give you course credit for 4s and higher. So if you can pull C's or higher at ISB, you're on your road to getting college credit at public universities in Oregon.
And then Ms. Schaff, I'll also give you this one. What are the benefits of 4 HLs versus 3?
Yeah, okay. So you mean as far as actual registering? Well, some universities and colleges won't even look at your IB credit unless you're doing HL and unless you're getting like a 6. So it depends where. Jonah just nodded his head. Some schools are only, they're extremely like, we will only take HLs and we will only take 6s, and they won't even look at SLs. So that's one thing to think about. Another thing to think about is, let's say you want to go to University of Oregon and you're trying to really maximize how many college credits you're going to earn. Generally speaking, you get 4 to 6 credits for an SL. You get 9 to 12 credits for an HL. So you can get more college credit that way and get right to your major. by taking more HLs. So those are, and then just having the opportunity to yeah, that's pretty much it.
But definitely not necessary to take four
No.
HLs at all.
3 is great. 3 is fantastic.
All right, let me check one last time, but I think that is it. Thank you all so much for coming this evening. We really appreciate it, and hopefully it worked well to do this online. And I really, really want to thank our student panel. Thank you so much, all of you. You are wonderful. So we really appreciate you.
Yeah, very much.
Let me do. Okay. All right. I'm going to close it out.
Night.